right, who here is tired of hearing the buzzword AI? You can raise your hands.
So, well, Chris, last year we won the Speaking Award, the previous one, using a lot of buzzwords. But I guess this year is not going to be enough.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out, Simone. No pressure. Today, we are not going to talk about buzzwords. We are going to tell you about our success story. We have started using AI for operations, and this is turning our logistics experts into heroes. I'm Chris, and I lead the product team at Forto.
And I am Simone. I lead our sea freight operation teams in Europe. And today, I'm here to talk about the real-world example and impact that AI is having on operation, and most importantly, our customers. For those who don't know us, we are Forto, a digitally born freight forwarder with a very clear mission to make global trade simple and sustainable.
Exactly. Our mission was built on an engineering blueprint that has led us on this journey. That blueprint is what caused us to invest in AI. We have our own artificial intelligence that we use at Forto, and it's deeply integrated into our workflows. So, before we move any further, we will be using Slido today. So if you want to take out your phones, scan the QR code, and you can answer these questions for us as we move on through the presentation. And you'll be able to keep the window open. You only need to scan it once. There will be more questions coming. And we'll see if we get any responses. There we go.
Well, no expectations. That's great. No popping up others. Or learn, OK. Oh, AI and logistics seem to be front and center.
Well, that's actually good, because how to use AI in logistics is what we are prepared to talk about today. All right, we'll give it just one more minute to see if anyone else wants to get their responses in. All right, it looks like the trend is set. Let's move on. Our vision has always been to make shipping as easy as sending an email. Now that sounds like a really simple idea, but we realized we could not build the technology of the future on the systems of the past. We needed a fully digital platform from day one.
So we started with visibility. Delivering service excellence means our customers must know always, all the time, where the shipment and what is happening with their shipments. That's why we built first Ship by Forto. That is a platform for customers, providing real-time insights and visibility, so no more chasing for information.
Now, we learned early on, sometimes the hard way, that customers crave accurate data. For us, this meant cleaning and structuring information from multiple sources. Faro, by Forto, our proprietary transport management system, is where we automated those data workflows.
So we had the visibility, we had the data, we got proactive. We started sending advanced notification to customers, and as well creating tasks for operation, just to keeping us always a step ahead.
So the real challenge for operations was scaling. But it was more scaling the automation, because every single task could lead to an unplanned exception. We were missing something. some agent to connect the dots that could act on insights at machine speed. And our AI, Flash, is that missing piece. This wasn't a trend for us. We didn't chase it. This was the natural next step on our journey.
So, in the following slides, we will show you how it's looking like working with Flash. Okay? This is just to give an idea on the flavor or the capabilities that a transport agent, this technology, can provide. So, we are going to, let's say, split in two different parallel worlds. On the left, well, your left, that one, you will see the more traditional view of an operator, okay? The one that you can find in any very traditional freight forwarder. And I'll put myself in the shoes of this operator and I'll take you through this journey, that one.
And on the right, your right, my left, you are going to see the agentic experience for operators at Forto. We are going to take you through a couple of real-world examples, step by step, and what we want to try and do is give you a sense of what this experience is like.
All right, before going into that, one more question for all of you. Well, yes. We are going to keep going here, so no worries. We will come back on the results later, in a minute. So now, yeah, let's go and let's get started. I will show you the first real case, a real example, which is a customer request, okay? So, as I said, left, traditional, right, Flash. Most of the cases, it all starts with an email. I mean, the operator has to read the email, understand the intent. Is this about a quotation? Is it about a new booking? What is the email about? All these little steps, being anyways very small, but require a lot of review and processing.
So when emails come into Forto, Flash will immediately analyze them. With the intent analysis, Flash figures out the customer doesn't want one thing, they want two. They want a new quote for a new shipment, and they want an update on an ongoing shipment. This means that we start working in milliseconds and not minutes.
And when the operator figures out what needs to be done, it's all about processing tasks. I mean, processing tasks, setting up deadlines, involving other teams if needed. All these steps, planning and preparation, being anyway very simple organization work from operators, takes a lot of time.
So based on the email content that Flash extracted and analyzed, it generated two very clear tasks for the operator. The operator needs to send a new quote, and they need to send a status update. For the customer, this means that we are already starting work to fulfill their requests while others are doing admin.
So let's take the first. What is the shipment status? Easy, normally, but often turns into detective work. I mean, imagine there is a little piece of information missing, a customer ID. This immediately translates into digging into files. Normally, super slow, very inefficient.
So what Flash did was it cross-referenced the customer's vague description against all the shipments that we have ongoing for them, and it identified the only one that fit. It drafted a response that was linked to the shipment in our transport management system and pulled out the most recent ETA update. And the draft is ready for the operator to review and send.
So let's go to the second. The operator now is handling the quote request. I mean, they're using a tool and information that are across different systems to find the right pricing or selling options. Best case. Worst case, they are taking the email and forwarding to a pricing desk, which obviously starts a new loop of communication.
So the system has access to our rates data, to our capacity, and to the customer preferences. It has, based on the requirements, prepared a quote already. The operator just needs to send it. And this means that the customer is getting access to our most competitive rates as quickly as possible.
Now, finally, let's get to the confirmation of the quote, which is actually a moment where we start playing Tetris. The operator has to go through very complex allocation spreadsheet, need to match the cargo readiness with the carrier's cutoff, has to continuously and cross-checking all customer preferences that, by the way, very often are in the heads of the operator.
So Flash knows the customer requirements, and it has our business logic. That means that it has already checked and prepared a solution for the operator. All we need to do now is select and confirm and book with the carrier. It takes the work, but not the fun out of playing Tetris.
All right, then a bit of Tetris we played. So let's get the confirmation from the carriers when we get it. Here again, review and review again. All the details that we received, being this an electronic message or a PDF, needs to be checked. It's not about the vessel only, it's about the routing, the rates, the terms and conditions. Quite a lot of information.
So Flash validates the booking confirmation. And it doesn't need to do anything else unless there are any inconsistencies. If there are, it will suggest a draft email to maybe follow up with the carrier. Or, if it's urgent, alert the operator they need to place a phone call, providing a script. We're not quite at the point yet where we let Flash talk to the carriers directly.
All right, so I think 1 second we go back to, these are the answers to the last question. Maybe we left it there for a little too quickly, I would say. All right, so let's slow response time. I think the good news here is that this is not going to be of a problem in the future. I mean, the industry is evolving quite rapidly, I would say, lately, and adopting new technologies, as we've done with Flash and Forto with AI.
All right, so we're going to move on, and we will talk about everyone's favorite topic. Well, at least I know that it is Simone's favorite topic, documentation. So we have another question here, but we seem to not be able to save the answers. So we're going to gloss over that question. We'll get back to it after the next section.
All right. So this is one of my favorite. I'm coming from operation. It's a case, an example of a letter of credit. One of the biggest headaches that operation and document has in operation. A letter of credit comes normally with 10 plus pages of legal jargon, super stringent requirements, and super tight deadlines. There's a little clock ticking like a bomb, and things are really hectic, right? So, especially when you realize all of a sudden that something super special is required.
So the same way that Flash extracts information from customer emails or from booking confirmations from the carriers, we're able to extract the data out of letters of credit. And for the operator, this means reducing the cognitive load. They don't need to read through pages of legalese. They don't need to search for hidden requirements. All the relevant information is extracted, it's updated in the system, and in this instance, it identified that there's a certificate missing. Flash went ahead and drafted an email to request the missing certificate.
I wish to have it. in the past. So now, let's get that done before, and then the operator begins the very painstaking activity of basically getting all information in a letter of credit and manually putting them into a blank bill of lading template. No rooms for error here.
And with Flash, the bill of lading is just waiting for the operator. There's no copy pasting, there's no typos, and for the customer, this means that they're going to get a draft bill of lading that is accurate 100% of the time, and that will accelerate their review process.
All right.
So, let's see.
So, another question, right? For you, for all of you. You waiting for the answer? I can 100% relate with multiple review. Even though in my, let me say, personal experience, probably the BL error holding cargo was one of the biggest headaches. Well, at least it used to be like that before we started using Flash in Forto.
All right. So we have one more example that we're going to want to run through with you. But before we get to that, and toward the end of the presentation section of this masterclass, I want you guys to think about if you had access to an AI like Flash, what would you use it for? So we'll come back to this question in a little bit.
So let's take this one. I think one of the things, when things go wrong, what really happens, right? The classic example can be a vessel delay. A vessel delay is, first challenge is understanding what really happened, where is the problem. Even if when you are detecting the problem very early down the road, I mean, it's a scramble to identify and to basically correct the impact of the situation.
So at Forto, we have access to vessel location data feeds. And Flash has access to those. Whenever there is an anomaly that is detected, Flash will determine the cascading effects on the system. And as an example, we had this algorithm available to us, and we had it running during the Red Sea crisis. But it was still a heavy load for both our analytics team, who were running the algorithm, and for our operations team to try and mitigate the impact. If we would have had Flash during the Red Sea crisis, or if we, and we hope not, have a similar situation today, Flash would already be generating tasks and finding new solutions to mitigate the impact, to lower the impact of delays, reduce demurrage and detention, and other poor outcomes.
All right, so here, the answers on the last question, right? Think, not sure, maybe nobody but took it, right? Ah, yeah. All right, that's interesting. I had a bet with Chris on this one. I think he taught it in a very different way. So now he owes me a beer, which is good. We will have it later, my friend. Or now maybe.
Well, yeah, give it a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-oh. I might actually owe you a beer.
I was too, too early. It was too early, indeed. But still, the answer remains on my side.
Well, I mean, we haven't told them about the outcomes yet, so maybe they'll want to change their answers. So, Learnings.
So let's talk outcome. Let's talk results. Today, 65% of the booking requests of my team in Europe are handled with minimal human touch, with a lot of support by recommended decision that Flash creates. As you can imagine, this basically frees up time to dedicate for operation, to dedicate on exception handling, critical cases where the expertise of operation can truly create value. So in the end, operators are not any longer stuck in data entry clerk stuff. They truly are logistics experts, can really dedicate to basically solve complex challenges that are the one that matter the most to our customers.
So that 95% service accuracy is key. It means the end of pesky disputes and claims processes. But my favorite is still our exception handling, reducing delays and reducing demurrage and detention. The way we're dealing with it, we're spending 95% of our time inside of the free days of our customers' allotments for demurrage and detention. That means every single time the customers ship with us, they're saving money when they ship with us and when they ship with Flash. So as we're wrapping up, we wanted to actually share some of our learnings with you to set you on your way on your own AI journey. We learned that we need to start with the high volume and the low complexity tasks first. And the good news is, you don't need a large tech organization. You don't need to build these things from scratch. There are tools out there that will let you automate everything that's high volume and low complexity today. All you need to do is get started and bake it into your process.
And critically, we learned that it's about empowering, or better, superpowering logistics experts. In the end, Flash works as a co-pilot. It's augmenting the judgment and expertise of our operations. And this, I think, was a key to then get the buy-in of the team and also achieving results pretty quickly.
I mean, ultimately, this all translates to perfect customer outcomes. So when your operators are superpowered, and when the process runs seamlessly, then the service that you provide to your customers is simply unmatched.
So by perfecting the process with using AI and Flash, we have eventually turned our logistics expert into the superheroes that they always were.
So thank you for letting us share the Flash experience with you, and we are happy to answer any questions that you may have for us.
Simone,
so guys, no questions from the audience. That means I have to ask some. And I'm just wondering, because to get it right, maybe I'm just wrong on that. You're covering a lot of ex-works cases, right? Import, inbound cases, etc. And one of the biggest challenges I have seen there in the inbound case is the complexity of the different steps you have to perform. Delivering from China, for example, getting the right container, an empty container there, books the vessel, then they have the main leg tracked, then they have the subsequent legs and the port operators, customs, etc., etc. How do you deal with all this complexity? Is it pre-configured? Is it, I don't know. You have your new approaches there, you're working with connectivity providers there. How's your approach?
I mean, this situation will always remain, right? So what we're doing with Flash is pretty much reducing the likelihood of things not really going as planned. So what we have is basically plenty of information coming from different partners, different suppliers, and a lot of our internal processes, they are basically setting up the tasks that Flash reads and suggests. So this is a huge step in the direction of having also very consistent, right, type of delivery, because it's not about only having one person knowing perfectly their job, but everybody super powered by a super consistent, always on time system.
Okay.
So I think one way to think about it is we did not start by trying to build an agent to handle operations for us. And that is still also not the goal, right? It's to help our operators work more effectively. But this is what we've been doing for the entire journey at Forto. And it's been an incremental process. We work very closely between tech and our operators to understand what is the next step? What are you trying to do? What costs you time? What's hard to do? So that is the journey and the evolution. We didn't start from a blank slate.
Okay.
Let me double down, because I think we already mentioned about the role of operation into this, and that's really key. Meaning, who is building Flash is the tech team sitting literally on operation. Really, it's an amazing, I would say, experience also for operators. They are basically working together with tech to translate daily stuff into systematic, I would say, systematic approach, and supporting, basically growing Flash as a kind of reflection of what we really do in operation.
Okay. I don't know what you think, but I see a lot of potential, especially in the situation that you have so many silo organization today, even in a company. Yeah? The decision sometimes, we do X works now and do all the input on our own, is lacking the knowledge in the company, in the corporate. Because we have purchasing department taking care of the materials, and there's transportation department who's dealing with the freight contracts, all that things, local transportation clerks, etc. Even quality, because work for a customer, it's quality issues first time they realized when, for example, their chairs arrived at the customer. So, and this is I see a lot of complexity, which maybe with your help and agentic AI, for example, step by step, not tomorrow, but maybe day after tomorrow, can be handled. Yeah, we'll see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and no, I think that's it more or less. I had another question for vessel tracking, but that's too much. Maybe we can do it later on and then continue our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you
for being here, having you as speakers here on the stage, and thanks a lot.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.